All right, welcome to May 28th pre-market live stream. We're going to go over the overall market and lots of interesting setups. So let's get started with some reports, some events here, and we'll go from there. So what happened on the geopolitical side? There are some like continuing tension between Iran and US, and yeah, the oil kind of spiked back up because of that. And you can see we were around this 87, but because of the recent tensions that happened between US and Iran, the price of the oil pushed back up higher, hit around 91.5, and then it got rejected. On the price action side, you can see that this is basically a technical setup as well. So we knew that there is a demand zone here, and we basically bounced back up above the demand zone. At the same time, we had these news as well. So that's about oil. We are up around like 3%, but so far we are still rejecting so far we are still rejecting this level. Okay, so now you can hear me now, right? Okay, awesome. All right, yeah, so the oil price basically didn't technically move a lot. What happened was just a quick spike back up and hitting a resistance of 91.5, 92 zone. Okay, some major indices. Dow Jones finished pretty strong, and take a look at Dow Jones price action. After hitting all-time high, it's holding pretty strong at all-time high right now, right above this 505 level, which is interesting, and probably is getting ready for a possible continuation. As long as it holds above 505 level, if it pushes back down till 502, 500 level and bounce back up, also it's still basically strong enough for a possible continuation. All right, so on the economic calendar side, we had a couple of events. We had PCE inflation data that came out cooler than expected. On pretty much on everything, PCE month over month and year over year. And consumer spending remained strong. Personal spending 0.5% versus 0.4% expected. GDP is weaker than expected. We had a lot of events for the day. And durable goods order was strong as well. Okay, labor market still relatively stable so far. Initial jobless claims came out 215K versus 214K expected, so it's still looking pretty good. All right, so there are a couple of big movers for the day as well, which I will go over them as well. There are 3 tickers that are setting up pretty good, and they beat their earnings, and they're moving in the pre-market. We'll start with S&P 500, and we'll start with analyzing the market first, and then we'll go over some individual tickers that are setting up pretty nice, at least so far in the pre-market. What happened on S&P 500? We broke the all-time high again, right around this 749 was the previous all-time high. And what happened after that break? We pushed all the way higher, and then yesterday we started consolidating and retesting the same exact zone that we broke. So we see the market is holding the levels really well, and it's doing it again. Okay, we're seeing the whole market is moving really well with setting higher lows, clear uptrends, and when it breaks, it holds the levels pretty well, and it didn't in the last 2 days as well. So on Tuesday, we basically were at all-time high and we retested, pushed back down, bounced back up. In the pre-market of yesterday, we were above this 752 level. We pushed back down, hit this zone again and bounced back up. And in the pre-market, we hit this zone again and bounced back up. So 748, 749 demand zone is holding really well. All right, so that's a very obvious zone right now, and it's clearly the previous all-time high as well. So as long as we're holding this zone, we can still keep the bullish move, and the strength is there and will be there. Okay, so if we keep holding right above this area that we are holding right now, the whole bullish momentum could continue. If we push back down, okay, if we drop, the next level that is on watch would be around this 746, 747, and then we can hit 743 level. And if that happens, this basically would have been a fake breakout on the overall market. All right, that's possibility. If we break it, we can go down, and then we can hit this 743, which is a major demand zone, which is a daily and 9 EMA here as well, right? But if we keep holding, consolidating here for a while, we might continue pushing higher and break this new all-time high that it is right there. I mean, it's a pre-market level, but the all-time high technically is right around this 752, which we rejected basically 3-4 times right now. So there is a big resistance there. We have a demand that clearly holds. We have resistance that clearly rejects. We want to wait and see whether the price can finally break out and hit the all-time highs, or will break down and basically get ready for another the next demand levels right below this zone. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about the Qs. So Qs pretty much did the same thing here. If you see what happened here in Qs was a breakout of the 722 all-time high, and then after that we continued the move, and yesterday finally we consolidated, we pulled back down. That is healthy. That's a normal price action. Okay, you shouldn't expect the move, you shouldn't expect the price action to just go make higher highs and then higher highs and then higher highs. We need to have a higher low as well, and to have that higher low, we will see a consolidation, we will see a pullback, we will see the price goes against the main trend, which is normal. Okay, we had higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, right? So that's basically the higher low right now, and it's clearly holding. Where was our previous all-time high? Right around this 722. Where are we holding right now? Right around this 725-ish on Qs. So Qs is it's very stronger. It's leading compared to SPY, because we didn't even pull back down to the previous all-time high yet. So we're seeing the strength here on Qs as well. The demand is there obviously, and it's pushing the price higher. So as long as we're holding right above this demand zone, right, we're looking good on the Qs, and we can push back up higher and go for new all-time high. Where is the previous basically the current all-time high, I mean, is around this 733.5. So we break that, obviously we're going to go for new all-time highs. But we saw a couple of rejections around this 731, 731, 733. So this is a resistance zone at all-time high, which is a very obvious zone here as well. So if we do break that, finally we are obviously going for all-time high, but two key zones on watch on the Qs would be this 722, 724.5 level as a demand, and this 731, 735 zone as a resistance area. So keep these levels on watch. As long as we're holding in the middle of this range, the price will just reject this area, reject that 733, 734, bounce above 724, 722, reject 720. We can stay in this range for a while. If we break below this 725, 722 demand zone, the next major level would be this 715 area on Qs. Okay. DIA Dow Jones, we're holding very well at all-time high, obviously, right? We are holding pretty well. We are forming this triangle here, very clean price action at all-time high, and it's holding the previous critical resistance of 505 really well. So the strength is there, the demand is there. So in case of breakout of this triangle, we might push back up higher. I mean, if we break below this zone of 504, we might retest this 500 level again. That's also a possibility, but if we push back up higher, obviously the price action will be a lot more cleaner. All right, so let's talk about a couple of individual tickers. First of all, Apple. Apple, after this consolidation, it just ran for 3 days and now it's consolidating. It seems like it's an exhaustion right now. It's pretty much exhausted right now after rejecting this 310, 12, 3, 4 times. So if we get a pullback down till 303, 301-ish level, that would be cool. That would be pretty interesting setup in order to get into a possible long basically trade on Apple if it actually holds this level and bounce back up. Right now we have been just trying to push back up higher, and we're seeing lots of rejection around this 310, 12, 13. So if the market opens and we push back up higher, and this would be the all-time high, right? If we push up higher and hit the new all-time high and just Apple starts rallying, obviously there is nothing wrong with it. If you see the confirmation that the buyers are strong above this 313.5, the demand is there, the confirmations on price action, on volume, everything is there. Yeah, you want to go for it. That's obviously a no-brainer. But if you're seeing a rejection, if you're seeing the prices struggling around these areas and cannot break the level, then obviously waiting for Apple to just pull back down to these areas for a possible bounce and continuation would be amazing scenario. All right, so Tesla. Tesla had a pretty crazy pullback in the last couple of days, right? Pulled back above this 395, and then finally it started rallying, and the two main clean days were just these 2 days. After that, it's just like the move in the pre-market, the move in the intraday is not really that clean. So we broke out of this structure. We retested this zone of 424, 425, and then pushed back up higher, gapped up multiple days. But during the day, the price action is really ugly and choppy. So not the cleanest price action. And as you can see, like if I go to just for 15-minute chart, you can see the price action is awful. It's really hard to really catch a clean move here unless you want to just scalp for a couple of seconds or 1-2 minute. The price action is not really that clean. But what is happening right now, we are retesting this 432 level on Tesla, and yeah, forming this bull flag as well. Now we have a massive resistance zone right above this level, right here, right? This is the same zone that we rejected, an exhaustion here. Finally, boom, sellers push the price all the way back down till 395, and the buyers couldn't push the price higher, couldn't hold the price until it hit a 395 level, right? So the sellers basically hit all the buyers in all of these levels, and buyers stepped in finally around this 395. That's a that's a $50-60 drop on Tesla. Now we are back at the same level, the same resistance zone that did this to the price action, right? So we're there. So this is not a easy resistance zone. I'm not like, this is not a joke here. Like where we are pushing all the way higher, you want to be aware of this massive resistance that did this to the price action. Okay, what we're doing right now, we are setting up a bull flag. Okay, that's cool. The demand is there. We're seeing higher lows forming on Tesla. This is the previous resistance that the price couldn't break. Finally, we broke. Now we retested the same exact zone of 432, bouncing back up. That's good. But where we are right below this resistance zone. So I would be really patient. So a breakout of this structure, maybe above this pre-market high level, could be a good setup for Tesla. But when we hit this 448, 449, 450, 450 till 455, honestly, I would be really conservative and try to be very fast with my executions. Probably won't try to enter any position in the middle, and any long position at least in the middle of this range. I would like to wait for the price to get out of this zone. But if I enter around these areas and I want to scale out, I would be very quick with my execution. So be very careful with what you're doing here in this zone on with Tesla. All right. NVIDIA, yeah, it just keeps going down, but at the same time it's holding the demand zone, right? On Tuesday it held and bounced above this 211. Yesterday it pushed lower, broke this whole structure, went down, but finally pushed back up higher. And again, we are technically in this, like right around this range. So what happened the last time that we hit a zone? It was here, right? We broke down, retested the zone, and boom, went back down. Retested the zone, and boom, went back down. Now we're retesting this zone of 211 and 211, 210. And if the sellers stepped in and push it lower, we can go lower on NVIDIA, right? We can definitely go lower and yeah, hit new lows of like maybe 204. It's possible to get there, right? We'll see if the sellers are there or not. We had 4 red days in a row, so we'll see if the price will bounce back up. But the key zone would be this 212 to 11 zone. So basically 212 to 13 as a key resistance. If we bounce back up and push back up higher, this might get ready for a possible bounce. But if we reject this area and push back down, well, that would be yeah, that would be a short scenario below this triangle that is forming on NVIDIA. Okay, yeah, Google, I have nothing to say. AMD, right? AMD is actually setting up pretty well again. So we had this massive rally and we finally had this beautiful pullback, and we are at this demand zone right now. The same pretty much basically all-time high and yeah, all-time high resistance area that we had, right? We rejected these areas, we rejected around these areas, we finally broke out, retesting, probably getting ready for a run. So AMD definitely on watch. Intel is just like consolidating for so long. Wow, what have I missed Meta yesterday. Wow, okay. Meta is back up. All right, Meta is basically in this gap right now. Finally, you see, after almost weeks, like a month of staying in this range, we finally broke out of this zone. So definitely on watch. Meta definitely on watch for a breakout of this pre-market level of here, right, on on watch for a possible continuation. We have a gap to fill on Meta, and it can get filled very fast. The gap is still around this 667, right at this resistance zone. So we can just push back up higher. If we break out of this resistance, we're gonna go and hit all the way till these areas, right at this 668. So we have a couple of resistance zones in the middle, but this is going to be gold if it can break out of this 660, 644. All right, MU, insane, massive, crazy name. Like it's at $1 trillion club right now, and it's just like holding crazy move, crazy price action. And yeah, there is nothing to say about MU. It's just super strong above pre-market level of this 936. We can hit the new all-time high again. Okay, so it's consolidating. It consolidated yesterday, even though like it's at all-time high, but the price held really well. So we are holding pretty strong here on MU as well. So if it continues pushing higher, there is no reason for it to stop at this point. But if it pushes back down, the next demand zone would be this 860, and then we have this 823 as a key major demand zone. So a couple of tickers that are setting up pretty well are going to be, Amazon is also setting up for a possible continuation, so keep it on watch. Snow, right? Snow on watch for, look at Snow's price action, went from like 170 to 240, massive gap up. We're right at this zone. So obviously on watch for a possible continuation, on watch for a possible gap fill, on watch for pretty much anything that might happen, right? So this is, if you want to keep this as a important zone on Snow, obviously break out of this structure or break down below it gives us massive opportunities. DLTR, another massive gap up here, right? We are seeing the price hitting from like 96 all the way to 111. So pretty crazy gap up here, 115, and possibly where we are right now in the pre-market on watch. The next levels would be this 109, and then we have 107. So there are a lot of levels for a possible gap fill. The market is open, and I will go over Dell as well. All right, why TradingView is doing this? Dell also had earning, no, I think it's securing 9.6 billion government contracts. All right, awesome. So I'll be trading live with the team. The market is open, so I will be quick heading to the community and trade live with the team. If you want to join us, you can make sure you can check out the link in the bio. Link in the description below, and make sure you check it out. Join us, trade live with us. Try the trial link and enjoy trading live with us every single day. See you guys in the next one.